showtime.
Here we go, Game 5. This is Draco versus White-rA. We have Draco in the top right of Othello with Protoss. We have White-rA on the bottom left of Othello with Protoss. We notice, first things off, we were just talking about positional disadvantage. This game, there is none. They are cross-map, and just, you know, it doesn't go good or bad for either of them in this type of way. And, you know, this is a very hard game for both of them. A very high pressure, tense game. It's Game 5. Right now, the person who loses goes home with $250, I believe it is, and the winner is going to get at least $500 with a shot for $5,000. So this is a big deal, a lot of pressure, and I can't wait to see who pulls it out with this much on the line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the most pressure foreign gamers get to feel is basically WCG, and most of us don't get out of the group stage. So I mean, with money on the line and basically instantly rewarding high level play, instantly rewarding wins, this is a new level of pressure not often felt by foreigners, so they both must be feeling it. I mean, Draco has a little more experience having been in Korea, but I mean, we're on an even playing field here. This is foreigner versus foreigner now.
It is, but Draco, I mean, he has a lot of experience. Yeah, he was in Korea and everything, but White-rA, same time, so much experience. He got 4th place in WCG Worlds this year, so he is no stranger to this at all. And we see right now that Draco is once again scouting very quickly, scouting down. He scouts that main, nothing there. Going to go over this next one. Looks like he may scout White-rA before White-rA even leaves his... No, White-rA actually has already scouted. Sorry about that. He is scouting towards the right, so they will find each other pretty similar times.
And we can see no fooling around so far. Just one gate, assimilator coming in for both players. We see a zealot out for a zealot out for White-rA, and a zealot coming out for Draco. So both players leading with the zealot, just trying to play safe against any sort of cheesy early game. But of course, we can see in the benefit of the mini-map that both players are playing pretty standard so far.
They are, and I expect them to continue to play pretty standard. You know, White-rA, maybe he'll have a tricky build, but last time on Othello he played it very straight up, and it rewarded him greatly. And you know, if he plays it straight up and he has confidence in himself, that is great. It's hard to have confidence, though. I mean, as we've seen, Draco's mechanics just get ahead of White-rA constantly. Right now they are still together, but it is the early game. White-rA should want, you know, to be a little bit more aggressive. Last game he exploded so quickly, and Draco's just, his build order along with his good mechanics just paid off for him so quickly there.
We can see the scouting probes in each other's base. Draco's probe taking a hit there from White-rA Zealot. And we can see a lot of damage on White-rA's probe, but the shields have recovered. So similar positions now. Those probes are probably going to stay alive until Dragoons start coming out. We see the cybernetic score of White-rA has finished. Cybernetic score of Draco has finished. No hints towards tech. We don't see range started for either of them, and we don't see robotics. So maybe they're trying to deal with the scouting probe, and then they'll take a step in one direction or the other.
And you know, it's not really a bad idea. We did see White-rA do that last game. He waited the instant that probe was out of his base, he made his robo. It's really so good, especially in PvP. You know, are DTs coming? Is he going 3-gate? Is he going Reaver? I don't know. And if your probe dies so early, it gives them a lot more leeway on what they can do, because of the various timings of, you know, getting your robo up and whatnot against DTs. And so we see the probe does go down over in Draco's base, so White-rA now playing blind, and Draco actually runs his probe away. That is very smart there. He knows that that Dragoon can kill it quite easily, so he runs it home. He says, you know what, I want this extra probe to mine, and that is just little things like that is what makes Draco the pro gamer.
So we can see now both players playing a little safer in Game 5, which is to be expected. They've both added a robotics facility now, clearly moving towards observers and possibly reavers. Reavers are very good cross position just because of the mobility, whereas using a Dragoon heavy army or even High Templar, not as strong. We can see second gateway down for Draco and not one for White-rA yet, just another pylon and Dragoons coming for White-rA.
And by the positioning of White-ra's robotics here, it's right near his ramp, just like that last game. And when it's near White-ra's ramp, that oftentimes means that he wants to do the Reaver expand build, where he makes that Reaver, no shuttle, and just defends to get a very quick expansion up. And we see no shuttle making, and he is getting an observatory at the same time as a robotics support bay. So really, that could absolutely be what White-ra's plan is for this game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there would be no reason to put the robotics there unless you were trying to do a Reaver expand. We can see the probe heading out as it looks like not enough minerals to expand, but clearly he's going to be placing a Nexus there once he has enough minerals. Observer coming out for Draco, and I'd imagine an Observer. Actually, a Reaver is coming out for White-rA first. So he really wants to defend that expansion and then get the Observer to defend against Dark Templar. I think the timing would have worked out really well. Had Draco gone Dark Templar, White-rA probably would have been able to defend it. He probably didn't need the quick observer. I mean, he is just a great high-level player. He knows exactly what he's doing. And we can see Draco has no intentions of expanding, putting down another pylon. So he could be going for the natural break that we saw in Game 4 again.
He definitely could be, and it's interesting. He is making that Reaver right now. He made one observer first, and no shuttle yet, but he is going to want to pick up a shuttle pretty quickly here if he's going to go for that natural break. And I think you're right. He did miss one pylon there, but he is just pumping non-stop units. And this is actually a really nice position that he can attack, because of the shape of the mains here. He can really do this attack very well. If you look behind White-ra's minerals, that is a really wide open area there, and it's kind of a long path from the natural to get up there. So any Reaver drops are going to be hard for White-ra to go defend while keeping units at his natural. So once again, he's going to test White-ra. White-ra, can you divide your units just right and hold my really strong early attack?
Looks like Draco is actually putting up a natural, which is kind of strange. He's got his observer scouting. Reaver just sitting in the natural to defend, similar to White-ra's build, but White-ra's natural is actually completed, whereas Draco's is only about half done at this point. So a big advantage to White-ra. I'm surprised Draco played this safe. I know why he would play safe in Game 5, but possibly overly safe. We're going to have to see if he decides to follow up with a Reaver attack. Looks like no Reaver making, no shuttle making, so just defensive purposes. He now has a third gateway down, and White-ra also has a third gateway down, making another Reaver, so he'll have 3 Reavers with no shuttle. Kind of a strange build from both players, but they're just looking to get their expansions up and then take it through the mid game, I suppose.
That is interesting. Draco really playing extremely safe this game. He got that observer so quick. He's made so many more units than White-ra did before expanding. So, Draco, we see how badly he wants to win. He wants to make it a long game. The longer the game is, the more skill is going to probably be involved in it. And so he definitely wants to show his skill here in the Razer TSL. He wants to win this so badly, Game 5. And White-ra, though, he comes out to, the early lead. His build order was better against what Draco did here.
So just during this downtime, I'm going to answer a few questions from the IRC channel. Someone was asking what the natural is. That is your first expansion outside of your main base. So your closest base is the natural. And there was also a question of what is a foreigner. And in StarCraft, it's kind of strange actually. A foreigner is a non-Korean. So if you are not Korean, you are a foreigner. And again, if you have any more questions, just put them into the TSL website chat, and we'll get them answered right up here.
Indeed, we are foreigners. It's kind of funny to think about, but StarCraft's so big over there, so we just kind of took the name they gave to us, which is fine. And now we see White-ra. He has got a lot of Dragoons in his main behind his minerals there. He does not want any sort of Reaver drop going on. Both players just starting to macro up. 5 gates going up now for Draco. Meanwhile, White-ra adding his 4th. No 5th yet, but he just keeps making Reavers. He's got 4 now, just starting his shuttles. and he's actually getting, it looks like, Reaver damage upgrade in the robotics support bay. So that's really cool. You don't see that too often, and that's going to give his Reavers plus 25 to damage, and 125. That is a lot of damage, even more than a DT, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, Reavers aren't cloaks though, so that's a little negative to them. We can see Draco pushing out, killing the Observer of White-Ra. Those little Observer kills are huge because it limits the scouting. A game like StarCraft, you constantly need to be adapting your timing, adapting your builds, your unit combination to what your opponent is doing. And if that scouting gets denied, you really have no idea what you should be doing. We can see at White-Ra's natural, there's a Draco Observer sitting above the cliff just watching his army, and that's really unfortunate for White-Ra. Draco sees him moving out. We got a shuttle now loading up 2 Reavers, and a second shuttle coming out, going to be loading up another 2 Reavers, so 4 Reavers are going to be in this battle. Draco only has 2. We're going to have to see if his Zealot leg speed can help him overcome the Reaver disadvantage in this upcoming battle.
And we see now that White-Ra adding 2 more gates, so he's going to have 6 gates here, and 4 Reavers. So it looks like White-Ra is angry here. He's going to go for an extremely strong attack. Meanwhile, Draco is taking his 3rd base, which may not be the best idea against what White-Ra is doing here. White-Ra is going to have a ton of units, and looks like he is going up right now. They are very similar supplies right now. Draco ahead by 3, but White-Ra with the Reaver advantage. So this is going to come down to a huge battle that's going to be microed furiously, and the winner of this battle will probably win this game and move on. And we see White-Ra right now walking up, and it looks like they're going to engage. We have 1 Templar in there as well. 4 Reavers dropping out. He is just decimating all these Zealots from Draco, and he is pounding it now. A nice side storm on 2 of the Reavers. Very badly hurt both of them. He picks up another few, and oh my, Reavers everywhere. Looks like Draco's army is being killed very quickly by all these Reavers, but at the same time, look at that beautiful shot there by Draco. Only a few units left, but mostly White-Ra's. Draco withdraws with his last couple goons and a spent Templar, but still, oh, the last Reaver goes down, so no Reavers left in the battle, and the reinforcements from Draco are coming out to clean up what White-Ra has left here.
Yeah, it looks like Draco's going to hold, which is very surprising, being down in Reaver numbers. Reavers are pretty much everything in Protoss vs. Protoss. We can see that Dark Templar cleaned up quite a bit. The Dark Templar killing 2 of the Reavers, I believe, as that Observer that got killed by Draco earlier comes into play quite a bit there. We can see White-Ra is still being aggressive, rallying Dragoons. Draco has quite a few Speed Zealots in small numbers. Speed Zealots, of course, stronger than Dragoons. So White-Ra's really going to want to build up his army with Dragoons if he wants to engage these Speed Zealots. But unfortunately, he's down in expansion, so that might not be the best of ideas.
You know, this is such a hard position for White-Ra. He's taking his 3rd base right now, but Draco's is already up and running. Draco has a big supply advantage right now as well. Right now, White-Ra at about 90 supply, and Draco at 110. And Draco with the base advantage, with the economical advantage, and he also has Psystorm now. So Draco is looking in excellent position this game, and it's going to be very hard for White-Ra to fight his way out of this deficit.
Yeah, White-Ra might want to switch over to just Reaver drops. We can see the shuttle coming in at the bottom right of the natural expansion of Draco is actually empty. So a dummy shuttle drop. Draco runs his probes, falling for it, taking the bait. And that's a nice play by White-Ra. Just little moves like that could help him claw back into this game. We can see the shuttle moving with White-Ra's main army. Does have a Reaver in it. It's kind of a difficult position for White-Ra because he has to alternate his robotics between making Reavers and Observers because he keeps losing the Observers. So it looks like he's flanking around to the bottom right of this 3rd base of Draco. Draco sees it with the scouting probe, positions his army nicely. We can see the Reaver drop. Will it get a ton of probes? It's actually targeting the Archon, which could have been a mistake. Tons of Speed Zealots, Templar. Now it looks like he's focusing on the Templar, but the Templar gets a storm out right when it gets killed. Wow, excellent storm. Another excellent storm, and it looks like Draco is just going to clean this up. All those Dragoons are damaged. Another storm, and not much left for White-Ra. He withdraws the Reaver, but that was a failure of an attack. Fortunately, he did get his expansion up in the meantime, and it looks by this probe at 6 o'clock he is looking to take a 4th base, possibly.
Yeah, White-rA has got to get something done here because he is falling further and further behind. Draco playing brilliantly here. And we see a little scuffle here. White-rA is shuttling stuff up onto the cliff. He wants to Raza expand, but Draco quite quickly brings over his ranged goons, drops a Reaver up there, and clears it out. So right now, White-rA is just, he's got to be hurting here. He's crying inside. This is really looking bad for him. We have Draco over here. He has about 125 supply. White-rA is sitting down at about 75, so he is just far, far behind. And, you know, we've said it over and over, but this is a mirror matchup. This is PvP. When you get that far behind in supply, there's really not much you can do. A player with extremely good mechanics like Draco is just going to get a ton of units and keep the pressure on you, and he's just going to whittle you down into nothing.
Yeah, I got to agree. White-Ra's only chance maybe could be to take a secret expansion, but we can see Draco is actually taking the 3 o'clock expansion, so he's up a base again. He's up an army. He has 2 forges upgrading. No upgrades done. Excuse me, he does have +1 on his attack, but he actually has Psionic Storm, whereas we don't see any high damage like that for White-rA other than the Reavers, which have proven pretty much ineffective at this point. He may want to switch into Reaver drops. We can see Draco's main is actually mined out, whereas White-rA is still making probes at his main, and his main still has minerals. So just another indication of the probe numbers. Whoever's base is mine out first has more probes, and that is Draco in this game.
Indeed, Draco is just never missing a probe. His mechanics are just, they are absolutely pro gamer level. That's what happens when you go to Korea. And now we see Draco is moving down the map. He has a lot of High Templars. He has 6 High Templars with his army. He has Speed Zealots. He has 1 Reaver in that shuttle, a couple Archons. His army is awesome. And here he goes. He's dropping that Reaver out. And White-rA running away from it. White-rA, his only saving grace is the 2 Reavers and the home court advantage here. And here we go. And these Scarabs running right into the Speed Zealots. Very nice, but a Side Storm on all of White-Ra's units. It looks like he is going to lose his first Reaver, and he does. And just more and more storms all over the place. So many Side Storms all over the probes. Ton of probes going down. Very few units left here for White-rA. And it looks like Draco is going to win this game. He is pushing forward, making his Archons, and he has got a ton of units left. White-rA with nothing left. GG. Draco wins against White-rA 3-2 and moves on to the top 4.
Wow, what a series. I mean, a lot of people have mentioned that they're not a fan of Protoss vs. Protoss. 5 action-packed games, very different styles, very different build orders in all of them. And, I mean, that could have gone either way, but credit to Draco and White-rA for putting on quite a show.
Definitely. I mean, PvP, one of the more boring matchups, many people think at least. But these two, such a high level. Really, we saw a lot of strategies here today, and they just put in their all, so that was really a pleasure to watch.
Absolutely, I thought that was incredible play by both players. You could just feel the nerves seeping through the stream there. That, you know, White-rA just has to be kicking himself. He had 2 opportunities to eliminate Draco and was unable to capitalize. The 4th game was, you know, quite brutal, but the 5th game he had such a good chance with that 4 Reaver attack. Once he had that upgraded Scarab damage, he went all in on Draco, but just did not manage to come out ahead. I was very shocked. I thought after that attack that he would be able to make it through, but Draco, you know, kept his cool. I thought his expansion was greedy, but it turned out to be excellent. And with those amazing storms by Draco and White-Ra's inability to affect Draco's economy, I thought that Draco really, you know, kept his cool and held it together for that last game.
Draco really showed his skill there. You're so right. I mean, I don't even know how he held that attack. 4 Reavers with that plus 25 damage. That's unreal. White-Ra's attack was so good, and Draco just held it right off. It was really impressive, and I can't wait to see Draco in the next round.
Well, we're going to find out who's going to be joining him quite soon. We've got Brat OK versus Dreven. That's coming up soon, so we've got another best of 5. Hang tight. We're going to give you a couple minutes. Get a little drink of water, grab a beer, whatever time zone it is for you. It's 7 a.m. for me, so it's a little bit early. But yeah, we've got another great best of 5 coming up. But again, Draco just really dominant in that last game. I thought White-rA threw everything at him. Draco kept his cool, and you know, he's moving on to the next round. He's top 4. he's got a chance at the 5,000. He's guaranteed 500. I think it's great.